Welcome to the Blue Room's 2024-2025 prediction show. I am joined in Denby Castle by Dave Downey, who's in very mischievous mood. Matt Flusk, also in very mischievous mood. And Mick Greenall, who, like me, is just worried about their two mischievous moods. What we're going to do, the format of this show, is we're just going to do a few pre-season predictions. So we're going to go, who's going to win the Prem, who's going to finish top four, bottom three, and then we'll move on to some Everton stuff. So we'll get right into it. Dave, I will start with you. Who are going to be the title winners in 2024-2025?
It's going to be Man City again. Boring thing to say, but I don't see how they... I mean, it's probably Guardiola's last season as well, which I think probably inspires them a little more. It seems to be every season, doesn't it, with Guardiola, various things get said about him being his last season, he's going to retire. Bit similar to what's happened with Klopp. He'll have a break from it or something like that. I can see that happening, but I can see that spurring them on as well. So I think they'll have it done and dusted quite early. Maybe before April, you could see that happening. Is it top four? They need to go through.
We'll do league. We'll do
winners first.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But just on that, thinking about, it could be his last season, Guardiola's. Could also be Sean Dyche's last season. Makes you think, doesn't it?
You've just ruined one of the answers I've got to a quiz. You might have to restart this.
We don't have to. No, we don't. We'll carry on. We're all right.
Great.
Matt,
I've gone for Arsenal. I think City are due a tough season. And what you just said there about the last season, I actually forgot it was Guardiola's last season. Because it was just drowned in the whole psycho-drama of Klopp. But obviously he's announced it ahead of time, so you won't get that big shock impact that the Reds had with Klopp. But I still think towards the end of the season, maybe it gets leaked where he's going next or something like that. I can see them having a similar dip at a similar time. And I think that might just let Arsenal in the door. I think Arsenal, they're improving year on year. I just think it might be their time.
Yeah.
So, and City, like I say, they're due a tough season. And a tough season to them is only 85 points. So I reckon Arsenal probably will steal it.
it's a shout. One for City.
5 on the spin then, isn't it? If City don't win it, it'd be 5 on the spin.
I think so, yeah. No one's ever done that, have they?
No.
What's the most anyone's ever done? 3? Well, 4.
Four
Yeah,
now with
no one
them.
has done 4,
Yeah. Mick?
I'll pick this up.
Loving himself, this fella, isn't he? Where's he come from? You round Italy all summer, have you?
Let the boy speak.
I told you Dave was in mischievous mood. He's not
Yeah.
like...
Taurus Green Mick over here. I've also gone for Arsenal, partly because I just can't imagine a club going 5 Premier League titles. I mean, I couldn't imagine it going 4, but 5 I just think is a stretch too far. I actually think over the course of the season last year, I thought Arsenal were probably the best team in the league. I know City probably executed it better than Arsenal obviously did because they won the title. And you've got the league table to kind of show who's the best team, but I think Arsenal generally were the better side than City. I was having a look. I saw a tweet today which kind of put City's squad into perspective because obviously Julian Alvarez has left to Atletico Madrid this afternoon, and it's actually quite bare after the crux of the crucial players. In terms of the depth, which when you think about it, considering the money that goes into City, it's not that big.
It was already a very lean squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, Haaland's now the only striker at the club. Alvarez actually scored and was actually a crucial part last season, which I don't think... the only reason I know that because he was a key part of my fantasy team. If Calvin Phillips goes, which would be a massive loss for them, Rodri would be the only defensive-y midfielder in the club. So I think there's kind of the hallmarks of the fact that, if 1 or 2 injuries creep in, there's definitely weaknesses there. And also generally I just do think that it might just be Arsenal's time as well. And I didn't think I'd be saying this 3 or 4 years ago when the main competitors were Liverpool, but it might be nice for someone else to win it as well. It's a shame that it'll probably be Arsenal, but I've just got a feeling that they'll do it this year. But I think that's probably the easiest, but it's probably the most simplistic kind of position to narrow down. It's between those two. I can't see anyone else getting close, really.
Yeah, I'm the same. I was thinking Arsenal as well, purely for the 5-year thing and the fact that it does feel a bit... Well, football is cyclical. It does feel like City are possibly coming to the end of one of the cycles there. As you say, the squad depth isn't what it was. They've sold some key players. Guardiola's last season, it does feel like that sort of dynasty could be coming to a bit of an end. Which kind of, when you think about it, I mean, I don't want to go on about Man United at all, but it shows how big an achievement that was for Alex Ferguson and why he probably is the best ever manager that there's ever been, because he did that year after year, decade after decade.
And the
basically.
last one, with that squad.
With that squad, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I'm the same. I think probably Arsenal, just because they've been the closest challengers, and it does look like, you know, they've been building some momentum up where City could be dropping off a little bit. Still be a close race, I think, but yeah, I agree. So it's three for Arsenal, 1 for City.
Can I just follow up on Mick?
Go ahead.
You sort of went like, when it's Arsenal, who else would you prefer other than City?
Curious. Toffees would be nice.
Obviously, yeah, but from the, from the reasonable
I
challenge.
actually don't mind Arsenal. I'll pick this up again. Arsenal as a football club, but it's more so I might just hold it. It's more so like the fan side that I thought they were quite. I don't want to be offensive. Obnoxious, I think, is the word I'd use of Arsenal as a fan base. But yeah, I suppose when you put it like that, there's not. Maybe Tottenham, but I don't know if Tottenham are kind of like. I like Tottenham because they're also, a bigger team, within that, clog of football clubs at the top of the league who also don't win many trophies, and it's kind of nice to have another football club like that. But yeah, other than that, I wouldn't want United. Chelsea are a laughing stock at the moment. It's quite funny to see their downfall. I feel like I could say Villa, but that's not going to happen.
I think I'm there with Arsenal. I think it's the cosplay and the ultra thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what does me head in with the way they've got this North London anthem and the drums and all that caper. What do you reckon, Matt? Are they the best of a bad bunch for you?
I think they are, yeah, because Tottenham are just a bit like, they're just a bit of a Fortnum and Mason's Crystal Palace, aren't they? Like, they're just, yeah. I mean, I was joking outside with Fran from here about you say, bloody hell, next season, like, you and Tottenham never win anything, but you're gonna have the 2 best stadiums in the league. I was like, well, yeah, all fair coat, no knickers. That's what we are. Like, it's all just no show in it. But as Arsenal, like, I know some of their fans can be a bit much, but obviously FTV is the obvious example. But I think that just comes with being a historically successful club, especially in the last 30 years. And like, it seems a bit odd that it's happened in the age of social media when they've not really done much at all, except for win about 85 FA Cups. But I say not done much. More we've done. But I just think, as a whole, as a club, they're just pretty cool and stylish. Like, they just seem to have a nice vibe. Like, they seem to be rooted in the neighbourhood, if that makes sense. Like, they've got a very, like, North London coolness about them.
And as far as, like, North London or London places go, Islington's up there, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
the best French restaurants I've ever been to.
Yeah,
the only one, but the best one.
You also have some amazing Adidas kits and some incredible collaborations, notably Maharishi. Anyway, that's enough about Arsenal. We will move on to who's going to finish. Up the Gunners. Who's going to finish in the top 4 then? So if we're saying Arsenal are going to win it, you're saying City. Dave, who are your next 3 after that?
I am going for, initially, people listening to this probably like, I don't think Liverpool will finish in the top 4, given the manager they've got and all sorts of things you've got to sort out. In that case, then, I don't think United will either. I think Chelsea will get in there. I think Chelsea will surprise people. I know they've got about 17, 18 different teams they could put into the Premier League that'd be half decent as well.
It is literally 4 teams, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah. It's ridiculous, and it's borderline or definitely not legal in regards to what we see with PSR and whatnot. But I think they'll come good. I think they'll do something all right with a manager who's been a little bit low key, given what he did at Leicester.
It was a surprising choice, wasn't it, for me?
It was, and it felt. I mean, what you said there, mate, about they are a laughing stock, and it's quite funny to watch. I feel as if getting a manager in who's not the typical type. I mean, a lot of people make comparisons between him and Potter, thinking, oh, we'll go low-key with the manager and thinking that might sort things out. But then you've got a squad in there just going to look at him and think, who are you, mate? I think you've got somebody else with a little bit more about him. So I definitely think they finish top 4, well, probably 4th.
Yeah.
I think Villa will be back as well. They've made some decent signings, Villa. I think there's a feeling about them that there's... If they feel comfortable when I watch them, it doesn't feel like there's any mayhem going on. I think Emery's been fantastic as their manager as well. And then I said runner-up, I'd Arsenal runner-up for me. So City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Villa, Chelsea. Villa third, yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Villa third.
Yeah, Villa third for me.
Go on, Matt.
Oh.
I'm going to write that down.
Oh, we're writing all these down, aren't we, for the end of the season?
That's
so
what
we
I'd say,
can praise or
Yeah, there's
ridicule.
a forfeit for whoever gets it the worst amount, by the way.
That
Which
would
means you
that
don't
would have
get-
been me for last season.
And you won't get any George Cherries.
I had Villa to finish bottom half last season, I think. Arsenal, City. I've got Spurs, United. I think United will be a bit of a incremental improvement, but they didn't need that much of a points gap to get into the top four in the end. I don't think. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but I just reckon a bit of stability. Like, obviously that absolute cretin earthworm Jim has been causing all sorts of havoc this summer, but at the same time, Ten Hag's just kept his head down and got on with it. So I think the players that he's taken from last season into this season, they'll all get a bit better. I think Holland will be a lot better. Hopefully for them stays fit. So I think they'll probably just nick fourth. I agree with Liverpool. I think they're going to be nowhere near. Probably fifth or sixth. Oh, sorry, I put it down backwards.
No, it's all right.
Check the levels. But yeah, top four: Arsenal, City, Spurs, United.
So that was Tottenham, United.
Yeah, 3 and 4. Top two is Arsenal, City.
Oh, sorry, yeah, of course. Jesus, it's been a long night.
No, it hasn't.
This is why Les struggles more, because he does the videos and I just do the audio, so you'll probably hear two different things.
Probably. Mick?
I've gone Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Tottenham. I think that's relatively straightforward in my opinion, to be honest. I think Tottenham were good. Tottenham last year, up until Christmas, were one of the best teams in the league, I thought, and then they went through a massive injury crisis, completely lost their heads around I think they got beat 4-1 by Chelsea on Monday Night Football. One of the best games to watch last year.
It was, yeah.
But I think 2 players got sent off, and I think they had like 3 players injured in the one game. And after that, it was like complete chaos.
Stood on the halfway line.
yeah. And it was great to watch, but it was complete chaos for like the 3 months after that, and then the end of the season strongly again. And I think if they don't go through a similar injury crisis, I think Postecoglou will have learned a lot from last season as well. I think they'll be quite good this year. I don't think they'll challenge for the title, but I think they'll comfortably be in the top 4, maybe comfortably from point of view that I think the rest of the teams aren't as good. And I think Liverpool will be in there as well, because I think the squad's just good. I don't think they'll be as close to the title. Last year I've got Liverpool third, but I just think that they've got a decent squad. I think the manager's probably, as much as I would like him to be a bit crap after Klopp, I think he'll be alright as well. I think the top 4 was probably one, like with the top 2, I think it's quite an easy decision for me. I've got Villa and Newcastle as 5th and 6th, and then United, Chelsea 7th and 8th.
Okay.
I think Villa and Newcastle are 2 really good teams as well, but I just don't think they've got the quality to compare to the 4 above. Like I said before, I think Chelsea are a bit of a laughing stock, and I think I'm not sure Maresca will get sacked during the season, but I think he'll be out of his depth. I'm just not sure it's a good mix, but I don't think that's the case for anything at Chelsea at the moment. And I'd say I'd be more surprised if Chelsea finished in the top 4 than if they finished bottom half this year. Like, I think they are like bordering that bad. United are a bit of a mixed bag, because when they're on it, like, I feel like we kind of suffered that on their only 2 occasions last year. They can be quite good, and they were all right, I believe, on Saturday against City as well. But still, in the back of my mind, like, I thought they would largely for 36 games of last season they were crap. So I think the easy prediction is that will kind of follow the same pattern. And obviously they didn't. I'm not gonna mention anything about Jared Brantley. There's still 2 weeks to go. I'm not risking that.
Do you still think Ten Hag's their manager from the end of the season, though?
Yes, but I don't think he'll be the manager to start the next season.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I've swerved Villa and Newcastle as well. I think because of European football, well, for Villa anyway. But Newcastle in they're not in anything, are they?
Which I think will help.
Oh yeah, well Newcastle could make a push up there, but I don't think they're as good.
I reckon if Villa didn't have Champions League, I reckon they'd be top 4 this year.
Jason Tindall's still there now.
He is.
And Graham Jones.
Have you seen Jason Tindall on that advert for the away shirt, by the way?
No,
On
he
the
is not
train?
on that, is he?
Oh my god, the advert's class, because they basically redone the 95 away shirt, you know, the claret and blue hoops. Adidas have redone that. They've done this advert on the train. It is class, to be fair, but Jason Tindall plays a massive part in it, and oh my god.
Mad Dogs, that's what they call them.
You call him Mad Dog?
It gets worse. So mine are, I've got Arsenal to win. I've gone City second because I think they will be right up there, even though it could be the start of a transitional period for them. I've gone United for the same reason, that I just think they will have a better season this season. I think, as you said, Ten Hag, although Earthworm Jim, as Matt said, has been causing murder with everyone. Ten Hag's just kept his head down, and I don't think they're going to finish outside the top four for like a few seasons on the bounce.
Who was it that's been linked with United? Aside from Ten Hag, if he was going to get binned, because there was a lot of.
There was Southgate, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's sorry, yeah, that was
Which,
it. Yeah.
which
I
they,
just wanted him to have a laugh.
He's available.
Bit more Potter, that seems to be the top two though.
and sadly I've gone for Big Red in fourth because
It's not sad.
well it is because I just think they always, do you know what,
It would be nice if they were shit.
it would be, but as you said, Mick, I think they've just got a good squad, and you know, it's a hard job to follow Klopp, because like any manager who has like a prolonged spell or does that well at a club, it's hard to follow that. But I think with the squad he's got, you know, he's not bought anyone, I don't think, has he? There's not been any changes really, so you know, he's going to go into the season with the same squad. And basically Liverpool could fall into a battle of thumbs and come out sucking a pair of tits. I
don't know.
Yeah, they do. They always land on their feet.
I don't know. I feel like there's something in the water. Like the sheen is falling now.
I mean, there was
the fact that there's lads from Real Sociedad turning them down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, they offered to double his wages, didn't they? And he
I
chipped them off.
think
So
someone mentioned on Twitter, it feels very David Moyes at Man United.
I was going to say then, I think there's that saying that you don't want to be the one after the one, do you? And you know, you think about Martinez, that one season, and then it just fell apart. I know it's obviously very different for us because we weren't the success of what Liverpool have been with Klopp, as horrible as it is to say, but I think you've got a great point there in seeing what he comes in and does here. You've got a team there as well, which is as good as you guys have said it is. You've got Van Dijk, who's what, early 30s now?
Yeah, 31, 32.
Yeah, he's going into the last season of his contract as well, isn't he? There's a few players like that, so...
You've got Nunes, who I think is a total woeful player. You know, probably come to bite me in the arse when we get both derbies. The last one good as he'll probably bang it out. But I just don't see Liverpool as what they were last season, which was a threat up until a certain...
And they
about 30 odd games when it was still involved with that, when they cocked up against us.
I think they were pretty much there. I think they still could have won on the last day or something.
I think they were within 3 points or something. Well, you think the season before Klopp left, they had a crap one, didn't they? Because they ended up getting into Europa and then losing that final against Atalanta. I could see something similar to that. And you know, I think you'd ask like a sensible Liverpool fan who would say getting in the Champions League would be a massive.
Yeah, that'd be a great season.
Yeah, it would, and like something, you know, say it's crap, but they go win the Carabao Cup again or something like that.
Oh, nail on, they'll win a cup.
Yeah, when's the draw? We were looking when the draw is for that.
Tomorrow, yeah.
There you go. The draw's tomorrow.
But
they're not
early rounds. Oh no, they're not.
European teams, teams in Europe aren't there, are they?
Yeah. And isn't it seeded as well in the early rounds?
It's split north and south.
Right. We'll move on to the fun stuff. Hopefully something that, like, Everton
That's a
won't
great
be...
sell of what people have just watched for 20 minutes.
Well, you know, but this is the bit we all want to hear, isn't it? Who's going down is the more important stuff. I'm not asked about the top end, I'm not anyway. But hopefully Everton won't be floating around. Hopefully we'll be somewhere bang in between, or even maybe better. I'll go the other way around this time. So, Mick, who are your bottom three?
I've gone the 3 promoted teams. I actually think last season it happened as well, and I think it was the first time in a long time that had happened. But I just think that the quality gap between the Championship and the Premier League is massive. It's quite funny actually. I was looking today at some of the signings that the 3 clubs have done so far, and they've almost gone the opposite way as the last year. So Burnley in particular, but Luton and Sheffield United signed about 12, 15 players each, like completely transformed the dynamics of the squad. And Ipswich have signed 4 players who weren't part of the the group last year of a couple of loans turned permanent. Leicester are hamstrung by PSR in the same way that we are. Steve Cooper was out after their final pre-season friendly on the weekend, basically begging the board for new players, and came at it from the perspective, it's not that I want new players, it's that the actual group of the actual players want new players. like it sounds yeah.
Great way of putting it.
Yeah, like
Trying to make like a 7-5-a-side.
yeah, fresh blood. I think with the words he used, which thought, that's not a good sign for a new manager after 4 weeks in charge.
I'm just on that. I'm thinking fresh blood. Have you seen the way his face has sort of changed?
He wants an extra Steve Cooper.
That's what it is.
At centre back.
Whose face?
Steve Cooper.
Oh, Steve
Did you
Cooper
see that picture of him? He looks
Yeah.
like he's Botox the fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Either that or they'd photoshopped him.
Yeah, he's doing skin grafts off of fresh blood. That's what it is.
And Southampton, I think, it's kind of the same boat to Leicester, I think, with PSR as well, but I think it's just a bit crapper than Leicester. There's obviously the question mark around Leicester and a possible, well, more than likely, point deduction. And I just think, to be honest, unlike last year, where I thought there were a couple of possibilities where from the current 17 teams who were there last year, you could fall into it. I was thinking us, Wolves, Forest, Brentford, maybe without Tony last year. I don't think that's there this year. I think Brentford question mark, and Forest and Wolves still maybe, and obviously we're still a question mark, but I don't think it's as big as last year. So yeah, I think the easy answer is those three. I'd like Ipswich to stay up. I really rate McKenna, but I think the squad ultimately is just a bit crap, and ultimately that's what it comes down. You can be the best manager in the world, but if you've got crap players, then you're going to be crap.
Yeah, and as well, they're playing some lovely stuff in the Championship. It takes a lot to come up a division and do the same. Yeah. I know they have back-to-back promotions from League One to the Champ, but to make that jump from the Champ to the Prem and play the same way, teams have tried it, and it's very, very difficult.
It last season.
Yeah. As you say, it would be good if they did, because he's a good manager and he plays some good stuff. But yeah, I think they will struggle. Matt, who are yours?
I'm going to go from bottom up.
Yep.
So 20th.
Oh, sorry, Mick. Yours bottom up.
Yeah.
Where?
So I'll go Leicester 20th, Southampton 19th, Ipswich 18th.
Yeah, sound.
Okay, so bottom up, my 20th is Southampton, for many of the same reasons that Mick said. 18th, I'm going to skip over for dramatic effect.
I like this.
Is Leicester, again, because they are going to get the book thrown at them. They were in a situation where...
Do you not think they'll be 20th then? Because that's why I've got them 20th, because the points deductions.
No, because I think they've got just about enough quality that if there weren't any points deductions, they'd be safe. So I think they'll be dragged into it by that, which will be the first, wouldn't it? So it'll be quite interesting to see the fallout from that. But yeah, last season, I think they turned around to the EFL and said, your rules don't apply to us, because we were in the EFL last year. And they turned around to the Premier League and said, your rules don't apply to us because we're not in the Premier League. And the pair of them together, the pair of organisations went, don't take the piss. So EFL slapped them with a transfer embargo for this summer if they were still there. And yeah, the Premier League's going to hit the ball. I reckon they might get the full 10 points that we were threatened with, just because they'll have no mitigation and there'll be a lot of aggravation in terms of taking the piss.
Yeah.
But I think...
Leicester bottom.
Leicester. No, not bottom though, 18th.
Yeah.
I think they'll get enough points that they would have been safe, but I think the way that they've behaved,
Yeah,
it's just going to drag them into it.
and getting smacked with 10 points for a promoted club.
Yeah.
That's like, it does.
They'll get about 40.
Terminal.
They'll get about
Yeah,
45 points, 46 points, something like that.
19th then.
19th. I'm going to disagree with Mick and say I do think one of the teams from last season will get sucked in. I think it's Forest.
Okay.
I think that I'm just not seeing any meaningful, constructive, rebuilding or building of a cohesive squad. And frankly, do you know what? I could give all this nonsense about I've analysed the players and all stuff like that. I don't do that. For me, it comes down to one thing, and it's 4 letters, 2 syllables. Nuno.
Oh god, yeah. I forgot he was still there, manager.
Yeah, he's gonna just take them right down that plug hole.
Yeah.
He is, along with their 550 players.
I'm questioning my choices now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think.
I think I've just signed another keeper as well.
Yeah, you have who's they've made number 1,
Yeah.
and Henderson's not number 1 anymore.
Right.
No idea.
Are there any English goalkeepers left that Jordan Pickford hasn't absolutely buried?
No.
Where's Ramsdale? I know, is he still there?
They're trying to flog him to Ajax, isn't it? They're trying to flog him to Ajax. Your man at Palace has been demoted.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he's getting off it.
yeah. Nick Pope has gone all Christopher Reeve. So, like,
No.
yeah, there's no one left.
That time to mention the Pickford kill list, that wasn't it? But yeah, the Pickford kill list is insane.
Yeah. Don't step up. Not only will you not get the number 1 spot for England, you probably won't even keep your number 1 spot for your club. Anyway.
Dave, on that bombshell.
I thought it was going to be bad saying that Morpheus from the Matrix was the manager of Forest. I thought that might have been quite bad, but you've took that. I think that we will see Leicester bottom for obvious reasons you guys have spoken about there with the point deductions. I think that's inevitable. I think Forest will be the other one in 18. 19. Sorry.
19.
And probably a little bit of a surprise. I think Brentford are going to go down in 18th place. I think Thomas Frank is going to go somewhere else. I think he probably deserves to as well. No offence to Brentford, but I think he's really, really good. I think you're going to see him at the top.
It's a good story as well, isn't it? That he came up from the youth team. Like,
yeah, he was on Match of the Day a lot as well. Obviously on ITV.
Yeah, Match of the Day. Yeah.
And I thought he was brilliant. I think he's really, like you say, he's got a fascinating story, but he just seems really intelligent, up in the air, knows what he's talking about. And when you look at his post-match comments, it's just honesty.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way because you don't really see much of that in football. So they're my bottom 3. You said they're Leicester, Forest.
Leicester bottom, Forest 19, Brentford 18.
Ipswich, I actually think they're going to be like, you might be too young for this, the original Ipswich
Oh,
that came up.
the Marcus Stewart Ipswich.
The Marcus Stewart
Finished there.
Ipswich, yeah.
Here we go.
And who's the other fella? Renda Henderson or something like that.
Hyder Henderson.
Hyder
Henderson, something
Yeah.
like that.
George.
Wasn't, Matt Holland there as well? Or was he?
Was Matt Holland was there, yeah.
Herman Heriderson.
The most relegated man in league history.
Is he?
Yeah.
Like that.
The lad at centre half called Venus.
He's got it. I'm sorry.
Just these fellas anyway. But remember they come and battered us at Goodison, by the way.
Yeah, they beat us 1-0, didn't they? Marcus
Yeah, well,
Stewart
they
scored
battered
and it was... No, but they did. They battered us on the
Steve
day.
Watson cocked it up and gave it to him. So I remember that watching that game in particular, but I think Ipswich will be okay. I think that the manager they've got there is better than what they had with George
Barely.
who brought them up. I think they're going to be fine. And what are you laughing at there? Just coming up with names.
No, just laughing at it. I think this is going to be fine because the manager's better than George Burley.
Well, yeah. No, because this is Coke, by the way, and nothing else. Really.
For anyone not watching YouTube, it's a glass of Coke Dave's got, nothing else.
Yeah, not that weird. But
10% Coke, 90% gin.
I think Southampton will be okay because you've got 3 sides simply who are away stand and you've got the one that's going to be points deducted. I don't know many people who like Leicester either, so it'd be quite handy for them to go. And I think Southampton will be okay. But the Brentford are going to have an issue. I think you mentioned then Tony's gone as well, hasn't he? So I'm finding it really
not
hard.
gone, has he?
To say serious things.
What Saudi are after him, aren't they?
He's going to go, isn't he? Let's be honest, he's going to go before the end of August. So yeah, and I'd like to see Frank get a decent job somewhere. Rolls might be yours.
Could be.
That'll be a step down.
I think the ideal scenario is that like Tony goes from Brentford and they like panic and sign Neil Mobo for 15 million.
That'll be lovely.
And we get our money back. It would be great.
We'll swap Tony.
Yeah, when I did this, I completely forgotten about Leicester's point deduction until I was watching Sky Sports News before, and it reminded me. But I'm going to stick with my original 3. So I'm going to say, despite the points deduction, Leicester are going to have just enough to stay up. I'm going to go Ipswich bottom, sadly, because I do think they'll stick to the principles, try and play that style of football, and I think they will struggle.
Luton.
That kind of thing. Southampton, I'm going to put them 19th just because I really want it to happen, and I think it will. I just don't think they'll have enough to stay up. And then I am going to go Brentford as well. I think out of the clubs who were there or thereabouts last season, I think they are the most likely to struggle again this season. Of the clubs who are around the relegation spot. So yeah, I'll go Ipswich 20th, Southampton 19th, and Brentford 18th. Right now,
one thing. Sorry to interrupt there, but when Mike said about Wolves, you just mentioned that you never put them in your bottom three. Wolves, I think, is really interesting because they've got a manager that I rate really highly. I think he'll end up, he's similar to Thomas Frank, he'll end up somewhere decent, Tim. But they don't seem to have that fit for what he wants to do with them at times. You've seen him. He was great, Tim, as well. Somebody else, I don't know if you watched the Monday Night Football that he went on to. With Redknapp and two of the clowns that get on. But you know when he just gave him...
You're a BBC man to the end, aren't you, Dave?
That's it, it's BBC. Anti. See, look, he's just against me all the time. It's George Jerry's. It's where I'm employed by.
It's
the man just does not like me. Anyway, the point on Wolves there is that it's getting out of hand this now, isn't it? Anyway, Wolves.
Yeah.
I don't think are what Gary O'Neill has a side there that will equal how good he is as a manager. You see Wolves being 15, 14, something like that.
If Slot goes, he'll end up there.
It's a big shout.
He's worked there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He used to be a
Did
coach
he?
there.
I didn't know
He
that.
was a coach there.
Yeah.
I reckon he'll end up there.
I think you've got two managers there. Ipswich's manager. You've got O'Neill there as well. You've got Thomas Frank. I wouldn't be surprised if you see those three on swap clubs, but you can see those three not at those three clubs as well. I think it'd be really interesting to see who, because you have it early part of the season, you go 10 games in. If you're in the bottom three, it's when you get nervous and you start thinking, we need to change this right now. Could see that happen with those three guys as well, who are rated quite highly anyway.
They're all good, but they're not Dyche. Speaking of which,
well, we'll see about that one.
This is the bit everyone's been looking forward to now, because this is the bit where we talk about Everton, right? So we're gonna just quickly say where we think Everton season's gonna go, a little bit into how you think we're gonna do, and ultimately where are we gonna finish. Dave? Oh no, Matt, I'll come to you first. We've not had you first yet. Go ahead.
So our position. All right.
Toffees will finish.
Strap in. 8th. 8th.
That's our rightful position, by the way.
8th. Yeah. Well, I think that's what our predicted us to finish for the last 9 seasons or something.
It was not 7th, though.
Our first ever league finish was 8th.
Was it really?
8th, I'm sure most of the time we're 8th.
Out of 8.
I'm sure 8th, we're 8th at the start of the season most of the time, of alphabetical order. 8th is our rightful position.
We're not best of the rest, not 5th for a long time.
Embrace it though, it's just 8th. Go ahead, Matt, sorry.
Yeah, because there is logic behind this. So, in the last 8 to 10 seasons, the average points to finish 7th have been about 59. We won 48 points last season without deductions. I think we're capable of a slight improvement to get somewhere around... 11 points improvement might be a bit of a stretch, but I reckon 8 or 9 points would get us somewhere in the region of 56, 57. I do reckon that is more than possible. With the signings we've made, the players kicking on after, the first full day season, double Gaffer's Day, all that lovely stuff that our mate Dan loves. Yeah,
Dan, I hope you're still watching, by the way.
So yeah, I'm saying 8th, and I reckon I've got about an 8% chance of being right, but I don't care, because if I sit here for the next 9 months and believe we're going to finish 8th, and I'm wrong by 1 place, or 2 places, or 3 places, I don't have to worry about us going down once.
Yeah.
And can I ask anyone in this room, have you had genuine fears of us going down in the last 3 years?
The odd 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I've got one this season.
There you go. I haven't, and it's a wonderful existence.
I have got problems this season.
It's a wonderful existence to never ever believe you're ever going to do badly.
Our team this season, going into this season, looks better than it has done than last season, particularly, doesn't it?
More balance, more depth. Yeah, absolutely.
More goal scoring threats.
Hungry players.
Yeah.
And everyone's about 6'10".
Bring on the glutes.
As the meme says, I will build an army of bastards.
Yeah. Who's on that note then? Who's going to finish top scorer?
Oh, we're doing all 3. This is another math one, actually. Right. Hear me out here. Neil Mopey.
Come on.
Right. So
This is a problem that you've got. So this is why you're not finishing anywhere near 8.
So
That's why I
Here
think
we
you
are.
could still get sucked into.
Matt, make us dream.
hear me out. I can see a situation where Calvert-Lewin once again either fails to fire or leaves us in January because he's not signed a contract. So he's not going to be here for the full season, and that, he's probably most people's pick for top scorer. But I can see a situation where Mopé gets on the pitch quite a bit, especially with Chimiti being injured. He's probably going to end up being like first choice replacement striker. Coming off the bench, maybe more so than Beto. I mean, there's still question marks over whether Beto was even going to be at the end of the window. But more on that in the journalist chat. Also known as, what's it called? It's called the Byline every Monday.
Yeah, byline.
Well, that's not inside information, by the way. I'm just guessing because, like, there's been talk about Beto all summer. But yeah, I reckon Mopé's probably going to be first replacement striker, second choice striker, and I could just see him getting the odd goal here and there, like maybe a brace or something in the first half of the season. And by the end of the season, he might end up being our top scorer with like 9 goals.
Yeah, you have to score about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
You're top scorer, aren't you?
That's why I've said Mopé.
Yeah.
It seems like a wild shout, but I don't think you get massively long odds on it.
Even so, get down the bookies if you're that way inclined. Dave, I'm going to come to you next because you sound like you're saying the complete opposite to Matt.
I think there's big problems.
Where we finishing first?
14th. Reason behind is purely because, and we've spoken quite a lot about this, is not having a striker. And we've done that for many years. We've only gone into seasons with 1. We've gone into basically half a striker because he's not going to be fit for 30 plus games. I think the alternatives you've got there are really, really low. And that's, we've spoken highly of the players we've brought in, and no problem with the players we've brought in. I'm actually quite excited to see them play. But you've got to have something at the end of it. You have to, and I disagree with what Matt said there about a Mopé or Chimiti, who's, I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but it looks like he was really had a serious injury. How long was that? Has anybody heard how long that was meant to be for that he's out?
They didn't actually say what it was, but clearly he's had some kind of foot surgery.
Yeah, and that's another.
Yeah, end of the calendar year probably.
Well, there you go.
I would guess it's something like an Achilles rupture rather than
Yeah, there's been no word on what it is, which doesn't bode well.
But
Does it?
not
Yeah.
The point is, I'm talking there about 2 alternatives to Calvert-Lewin, who are Mopé, and Chimiti, and Beto, who I'm convinced has never played football before he joined us.
My only thing with that is, I think we've got players around them in Lindstrom and Ndai who can score more goals than
you can't. Whilst
Jack
I
Harrison did last season.
whilst I take that
and
point,
Decore, maybe.
we've spoken quite a lot about Decore in recent pods.
That Decore stat's incredible, by the way.
Yeah, it was, mate,
on mailbag.
yeah.
Go ahead, Mick, what was it? Go ahead.
I assume you're on about the one where how many games we've won? 3 games since 2020.
Yeah,
And so we've won 3 games without him since 2020.
yeah. So if the reliance is on him, as you just indicated, it might well be to players like a false 9, whatever it is. Again, bit of a tangent to manager. I don't think he's necessarily capable of putting in what we need to up front. That's a big shout and a big criticism towards Sean Dyche, which is opposite to what I'd say about the fellas, what he's done at the football club. I'd be surprised if we got more than 40 goals this season.
We got 40 last season, didn't we?
I'd be surprised if it goes to this season simply because if and when Calvert-Lewin, the way that is so up in the air when you start the season in 4 days' time.
Yeah.
That I'd normally go as far as saying that's criminal that I haven't done that.
Well, we talked about this at the mailbag, didn't we? And said, we should have laid the marker down and said,
It's
you sign your
horrendous.
contract by then, or you're going on the transfer list, and we can't physically just get rid of him and sell him. But if you say we're getting a replacement in, you're on the transfer list, it does put things in motion and puts pressure on the player.
I agree, but I just think it's really easy when you've signed some quality players who I think we'd all agree are excited to see what they can do for us this season. Then it paints over it covers the crowd. What is it the saying? It's covered.
Paint over the cracks.
Paint over the cracks of what is this? It does that when you haven't got somebody who can ultimately be on the end of what these players can do, and that goes back to me thinking that it's really, really poor from Everton. And I know people will praise, and I have myself, about Thelwell. He's changed my mind quite a lot. The manager himself, like I said jokingly the other day, he'd go and have Ashley Barnes and Sam Vokes if he could do. I'd probably be happy if that's above Beto, to be honest with you. But while we've got one, in reality, one striker, the other one we desperately want to go in Mope, the other one is a kid who's got half a leg. when you're in that position, Everton have to struggle to score goals. We've kept ourselves up by doing that under Sean Dyche. That's why I have confidence that Everton aren't going to be involved in any sort of relegation trouble. But it's also the reason why I don't think we're going to do any better than halfway through second half, the lower half of the table.
I mean, I think on reflection, we'd just take a nice season. I would anyway. I'd say we'd take a nice, easy, non-relegation threatened season.
I said the 40 goals thing. I don't think we'll get 40 points either.
Well,
but I don't think you'll need it.
So just on that then, the 40 goals, you scored in most of Everton's 40 goals.
I mean, I can't. I want to say Calvert-Lewin, but I don't trust him. And I don't trust him because there's been signs that he doesn't want to be at Everton. I'm not saying that on what he's done on the pitch. I'm more inclined to think that when you hear general silence around this sort of thing, and firstly Everton haven't done anything, I would think, being a fly on the wall in Everton, probably you would see that Everton were going to be content with him leaving, so they could go and do something about replacing him. That hasn't happened, and it's in limbo, and that's why it's so uncomfortable for me. Look, on Saturday we hope he won't go and beat Brighton. If he gets a goal early on and starts flying like he did with Ancelotti, fair point, but I just don't see it happening with the fella.
I still think he's your biggest goal threat, and he'll probably end up top scorer.
I just don't see anybody else, and that's not a good thing. That is really not a good thing. Yeah. Unless you're finding one of the lads we've brought in being able to be there as a makeshift, something else you can do, and then you get to the end of August and you're able to, but again, I'll put a high stake on. We get to the end of August and we'll desperately need a forward, or full-back, which I'm sure that chat's going to go to at some point. The full-back issue's been a lot of sort of hype to talk about here that we haven't got. But end of this month, Everton need another striker, whether he's here or whether he's not.
I agree to a degree about Calvert-Lewin. My worry, as I've said, is that we don't get 100% out of him because he has got his eye on a move and he doesn't want to get injured. Because if he gets injured, whatever move he's got in his head probably gets scuppered.
I know, just ripped it apart. That Mope point from Matt there is, like I've said, the alternative you've got. It's him or Beto, basically. Would he play? He wouldn't play two up front, would he?
Probably McNeil.
McNeil's a good shout. Yeah.
Well, he was second scorer last season, wasn't he? Yeah. After
Decore's there.
Mick, I'll come to you next, but I'll just get mine out the way first. I'm going 8th, like Matt. As I said, it's our God-given rightful position.
How many goals
in
scored?
The top division?
I'm throwing that in.
We're going to score 45 goals, and Lindstrom is going to get 12 of them.
And I get you 8.
Because we concede 25. We didn't have to, no.
Oh.
Concede.
You can if you want.
Last year, actually, didn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, I think Lindstrom.
51.
51.
51 goals. Let's go.
All of goodness enough.
I mean, 9 of them against Ipswich, but you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, imagine. It'd be great. I think Lindstrom's going to be really good this season. I think it's going to be a frustrating wait to see him properly, because I think Dyche is going to persevere with McNeil and Harrison and gradually bring him in. But I think his free kick at Preston, he looks a threat from set pieces, and he just does look like a dynamic player who just basically wants to get in the box and score. So I'm going to go with him. Anyway, Mick, you're more informed on all of this than me. I'm just pure vibes. What are you going with?
I thought I was pessimistic before I listened to Dave.
That's why I went to Dave first.
So I'm glad about that.
I've gone back to the original days when I created the Blue Room, that people used to slate me for being really, really negative. So I've decided to go right back to that. He's one of them.
Yeah, I might have to join in with that.
You'd have before with different things.
We're not talking about
kebabs. Can we do that instead?
Anyway, I think Everton will finish anywhere between 10th and 14th, but I'll put them 13th. That's my... And I think, to be honest, I think if you offered me that right now, I'd probably take it.
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine this year. And in my opinion, everything points in the diet. I mean, all you got to do is look at the actual points that were achieved last year, 48 points, considering we got 36, I think, in the season before.
You can't underestimate that, can you? The amount of points in realistic terms we picked up before points deductions.
Well, can you imagine at the start of last year saying we're going to
have
have an extra 12 points?
Yeah.
And I remember last year, especially, I might be the only one in this camp who thought this, when we lost to Wobie and we lost to Marty Grace right after the window shut, and our only attackers were, I don't think Calvert-Lewin, I think Calvert-Lewin had just broken his cheekbone at Villa.
Yeah.
We'd signed an unknown quantity in Beto, and our only other attackers at the time were Lewis Dobbin, who'd started the first couple of games after the opening game of the season, McNeil and Danjuma, because Harrison was unfit as well. If you told me at that time we're going to have an extra 12 points compared to the season before, I would have laughed. I would have laughed you out the room.
Exactly, and the big one for me is we finished below Brighton in real terms on goal difference. That's the one that blows my mind. Like, Brighton are the Premier League darlings. They're
Best run club in the world.
They're the way to do it. And they finished above us on goal difference without points deduction. So yeah,
£20
it's
million
like it's incredible.
Can't buy points though, can it?
I was having a look at the league table this morning, and I think if you include our 48 points without the point deduction, I think it was between 10th and 15th last year. There was 3 points between those like 6 sides, which is, I mean, I think between 15th and 10th it's like 12 million in
it's a lot
in prize money or whatever. So I think it's really all to play for within that like group of like clubs, I suppose. So really, I think we could finish anywhere between there. Part of me is conscious of it being Goodison's last year on like both sides of the spectrum, and that it could kind of push us on to, you know, go the full season at home unbeaten, which would be unbelievable. You know, I've still got the I think it was 2013 where we'd gone the whole calendar year unbeaten until the last home game. Sunderland, and Tim Howard got sent off after 25 minutes.
Do not start.
I've got a feeling something like that might happen, but then I've also got the scary feeling of being relegated in Goodison's last year, which I think would be just the icing on the cake of the last couple of years.
Southampton put us down in that pink kit.
Managed by Sam Allardyce at the time. Which club I don't know. But yeah, I think objectively speaking, I think we'll be fine. Part of me wants to wait until see how the window finishes. I think Branthwaite will stay, but I think if Branthwaite went, then I think maybe a place or two below 13th. But I think we should be okay. We're not that bad, Dave.
No, I said 14. Yeah, the problem I've got with the lorry is and I love the bones of all three here. Right?
We're not going to finish 8th, I can tell you.
No, I'm not on about that. This is the constant narrative that we've had for a long time about how many points we would have if we didn't have the deduction PSR. I think that's complete nonsense.
I think we would have more.
Well, that's part of the point that I'm making here, because things that doesn't indicate how we would have done in games if we didn't have to play with.
But it works. It works the other way as well in terms
of course
of.
It does.
So
I completely take that.
Win for 13 games.
I completely take that. But yeah, that I mean, it was worse than Lampard.
I think it was 1 in 15 or something.
It was worse than Lampard when he got sacked as well, which people don't.
The thing that annoyed me was it was worse than Mike Walker, and Mike Walker was the low bar. That's the annoying thing for me. We can't ever say that anymore.
There's a great irony there that Everton didn't have a board, and he probably would have sacked him. It's short times. But to get to talk about like this amount of points, that amount of points, had we not had that deduction, that wouldn't have happened that way. Things don't happen that way because. When you get that point deductions, Everton at a different club. Everybody around is a different club. Everybody plays different against each other. That's the point I'm making, which I've always found since it happened a really difficult way to say it. But I hope you get what I'm explaining there in regards to that.
I know what you mean. It is impossible to say what would have happened because what happened, and you don't know.
Just a quick one. I think that's why I'd like to, other than because it'll help us, I'd like to see Leicester get a point deduction this year. Because I'd like to see the impact it'd have on, because I think it was easy last year. I think it was easy last year to say, we're only winning games now because we've got a point deduction. And, you know, it's got nothing on the players or the manager. And then the other way round where we were crap because of the point deduction.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting because I think if Leicester got a point deduction at the same, I don't think Steve Cooper's going to have the same impact on motivating the players.
We need more test cases. We need
Yeah.
Liverpool to get a point deduction, see what happens there. See if
45
Arne
points.
Slot could actually become more bold, which I don't think is possible, but you never know. Mick, just quickly before we move on to our football hill to die on, who's top scorer?
Iliman and Ndiaye, 9 goals, I reckon. Yeah.
He does look good, doesn't
Yeah, I think he'll be alright. I think kind of similar to what you mentioned with Lindstrom before. I think maybe after September he'll be in the squad, but 9 or 10 goals I reckon. And then my player of the year will be Jared Brandtwaite again. And if he goes, I will. Well, even if he stays, I think it'll be between him and Idrissa Gueye, because I think the back end of last season and even through the course of pre-season this summer, I think he's been, like on Saturday against Roma, I thought he was outstanding.
It looks like he's got, like, Eric Burnham could be a really good sort of player for him to play with.
Yeah, but one of those two for that play this season as well.
Shout. Right, we will move on finally to our football hill to die on. I will go.
The play of the season.
We were doing player of the season?
We'll do.
Did I just jump?
Player of the season.
You like it better.
Mick just made that up. Matt's player of the season.
Are we all operating on different lists? Because that was on the list that Matt Jones sent me.
Wasn't on mine.
Oh, well.
He sends us different list, and he's not even here. So
He's on the lash and he just sends everyone different messages, cause chaos on here.
Just the cross keys on the floor, isn't he?
go on, player of the year.
Irabunum, because I don't even think he's going to be our best player per se. I just think being a new signing and the way he's going to surprise everyone from, let's be honest, like brutally honest here, he was a make-weight PSR transfer. And already in pre-season, he's just gone, all right then, Villa think I'm no good. I'm going to dive into this, grab everything with 2 hands. And he just looks like that kind of once every 5 years player who just sticks his chest out and goes, I'm going to prove everyone wrong.
Yeah,
that's based on like 3 pre-season games.
No, but
even
I know what you mean, because for me, he's come in as like an unknown quantity. He's basically a mad PSR signing between Everton and Villa. Do you know what? We need a midfielder. Go ahead, then we'll have him. You can take this winger and put him on loan, whatever you want to do. But he's played his way. I think he's played his way straight into the first team there during pre-season. He's looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jimmy Gardner's injured, so he's probably going to start anyway. But that's also testament to his character that he's seen that little opening and he's going, right then, got to go for it.
Definitely.
And he was absolutely outstanding against Roma. Like, just
great against Preston as well.
I mean, based on the Rome performance, he looks like the player everyone says Onana is, which we never saw for us.
Yeah, I agree.
So definitely. I think in a couple of years' time, the league might be looking at him going, what's happened there? Like,
10 million. The new
and Amadou Onana is now on loan in Turkey, and he's doing this. Obviously we're playing the League One because of all the points deductions.
I love the specifics of like he's in Turkey. He's not just on loan.
Dave,
I can see the future, Dave.
Dave, who's your player of the year?
Jordan Pickford, and I think I'll be looking at him again, thinking that Everton might well not be in the Premier League if it wasn't him, which I think has been my feeling towards this for probably not only the last chaotic 3 seasons, but also the appreciation of him will still be underrated, and I think that'll always be forever if he stays at Everton Football Club. I personally think he's an Everton legend already. How we've managed to keep him for edging on to 9 years it baffles me when I think about how we've kept. Personally, maybe I'll probably get slated for this. I don't care. I don't have any interest in England whatsoever. But the fact that he is regarded as the best England keeper, obviously the country's best goalkeeper, and Everton have managed to keep him, given every load of crap we've all been for, is pretty huge. I actually think he's a bit of a throwback to somebody you think, well, why hasn't he gone to? Because quite clearly would have had offers to go to clubs who are in better positions than us, and he's turned them down, or whichever way he's turned them down, he's still Everton's goalkeeper. I think that's remarkable that he stayed there, because you think, what is he now, 30?
Yeah.
I know keepers go on 34, 35, 36, whatever it is. He spent the majority of his career at Everton when Everton had barely been a mid-table side. Didn't play in Europe for us. He'll have surely received offers from his agent.
No, he played under our life
first season,
Played
Europe under our life. That was that box.
Cast the campaign.
Yeah, that was great. That. Did you get involved in Ashley Williams' scrap with
Probably.
Leon?
Hope so.
That kid. Anyone know what that kid's probably about 25 now.
Feels like
He
it.
was on County Road last week.
with the oil fella. What's his name again, the oil fella?
Lou McKechnie.
Yeah, he's probably
He
having
wasn't on County Road.
No,
He was
he
on the boy.
he's probably having a pint with him anyway. But with Pickford there, I think it's astonishing if you take a step back and think about
Yeah.
it. I'm surprised a lot of people don't say it away from Everton. And I just feel as if he's an Everton legend already. He's the second best keeper to Southall by none, I think. Would you agree with that point?
Post-war.
Go on.
It's funny. No, it's funny you bring that up. I'm not even disagreeing, but just on a completely random coincidence, last night I was doing some late night statage. Who's got the highest clean sheet percentage
I know
of
this.
any
I
Everton
saw
goalkeeper in history?
It's not going to be someone like Paul Gerrard, is it?
It's Bobby Mims. Who's the number 2?
Thomas Myler.
Joel Robles.
Right.
Joel Robles.
Right. Which, as soon as I saw that,
I was like, who's he again?
Like 44% clean sheet percentage.
right, so this is leading me into the next section nicely. Joel Robles, well, Tim Howard was the hill that Roberto Martinez was prepared to die on. And going by those stats, absolutely died on. So, Mick, what is your Everton hill to die on?
My Everton hill to die on.
Has it gotta be
Cracking
Everton?
segue.
It's got to be Everton. Okay.
Oh no, this is all mess now.
I was going to say,
isn't it?
Can we have an Everton and a general?
Well,
I thought it was like
Well, we've got 5 minutes to go, so be quick.
Okay.
Well, mine's very straightforward
Mine's
anyway,
very-
so you've not got that quick to think. Everton will sign right back at some point. Open-ended, not this season, but at some point they will sign a right back. And they will be better than 39-year-old Ashley Young, I'm sure of it. Or at least fitter than 39-year-old Ashley Young,
Want a better free kick taker?
I hope.
Right, that's going to lead me right into my hill to die on, because my hill to die on is that Everton desperately needs to make a young midfielder into a right back. It was Tom Davis for years. For me, now it's your boy Stanley Mills.
Garner as
He's
well.
a decent young midfielder. Stick him at right back. Right, I'm not just saying this because I thought Tom Davis could do it and he could do it. If you're a decent centre mid player, you can 100% play right back. Or if you're left footed, you can play left back. And it's a nice way to get yourself into first team football.
Anyone can play right back.
What's that?
Anyone can play right back.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, that was my position at school.
I played left back, so yeah, any idiot can be a full back. But if you're a decent young midfielder,
Nice one, Seamus.
probably your best way into the team, or a good way into the team, is to get thrown in at a full back position, because you've not got that manic midfield thing going on. So you will have more time on the ball. If you make a mistake, it's not terminal like if you're playing centre back. It's a nice position to ease your way in. So I think Everton should just make a young midfielder into a right back, and let's have none of this nonsense with players in the 30s playing right back until the 40. So that's my hill to die on. Dave, go ahead.
Bit of a bombshell this.
It always is with you.
I don't think Sean Dyche will lead us into Bramley Moore. I could see Sean Dyche cocking things up, and
So do you think we're going to scrape to 14th then? Be in relegation trouble till about March, April, or?
if he was to have a run of games like he did last season, which I always refer to as worse, you mentioned Mike Walker, I always refer to Frank Lampard was sacked with the double head with Bournemouth, but that was actually 1 in 14. He was 1 in 15, thinking about it, same with Dyche. Yeah.
Were there more draws in that though? 'Cause there probably were. I think we drew a lot of home games.
Everton aren't winning games.
And against decent sides.
Oh, yeah, the fixture list was much harder.
Villa, Spurs.
Come on now, you can't have a fixture list on 15 games. Anyway,
The only caveat I'll have there is that
if he does that again,
we did play City and Spurs Villa like twice each.
It's true.
those easy games. But anyway,
You can only play what's in front of you, and you got to play them twice.
You ruin him.
Sorry, Dave. I will not interrupt now. Go on, go.
I've been waiting for this part.
Go on. Sorry.
What was I saying? So if he loses the same amount of games as he did last season, he will no longer be Everton manager to take us to Bramley Moore.
Okay.
And I would like to ask the panel here, if he went and lost you went 1-1 in 15 against whoever, would he still be the Everton manager after that?
Right now, yes.
we'd still be
Yeah,
there.
because we don't have an owner.
Yeah, we don't have a ball.
Yeah.
My thing with that is, right,
I contract manager for Lango Walk as our chief executive.
Matt's dad.
Joey Faz.
Yeah, big fluskies.
I was all in for giving him a boot after Chelsea.
Where's Colin Chang?
Colin Chong.
Colin Chang.
Colin Chang is the love child of Colin Chong and Chang the elephant.
I was thinking about Chang the elephant. That's right.
He's currently shacked up in the Bullens Road with Dixie.
No, but serious though.
No, I was all ready to get rid after Chelsea, and he turned it round. So I think even if we went on a terrible run, I agree with Mick. There's no one to sack him, and I think he's.
Would he deserve to be sacked? Then that's a better question.
No, I think he has got enough credit in the bank for what he's done the last year and a half to see it through. And if we did go down as him as manager, it'd be like, well,
say the words. Say it.
That's
Say
all
it.
for saying when I did.
Say the line, Les. Say it.
what is the line?
Who are we gonna get?
Either Thomas Frank,
That's just for you, Jack.
Gary O'Neill will take us to Bramley Moor. There you go. I'll double up. Gary O'Neill's takes us to Bramley Moor.
Cop by Kev as director of football and Cop by Gary as manager. Oh my god.
Which one?
Cop by Kev.
Yeah,
He was on there.
15 minutes.
Coaching staff, yeah.
He was what?
He was on there. We just said this 15 minutes. He was on their coaching staff, yeah.
Oh, he needs to be started. I've just said he's great.
Check the tape, please.
I've just said he's going to win the Champions League.
Dave wants Rafa back.
Matt, we will finish up on your football hill to die on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was confused about this because the brief that Matt sent me was your hill to die on wild prediction for this season. But I'll give you one of each. I'll give you one for this season and one for Everton. The one for this season is that West Ham will be fighting relegation all season and survive. Okay. I reckon that there's been too much churn there. They've signed a couple of no marks. They spent 40 million on Kilman, which just reeks of Michael Keane to me. Like, the lad's got he's got 27 England caps in futsal.
Your full crug.
Come what?
Is it?
Yeah. Max Kilman.
What, like 5 aside in the pitch?
Yeah.
He's basically.
He wanted to declare for a different country, but FIFA told him.
It is a heavy. It's just a heavy small football.
All right, so he's played 5 aside with the medicine ball on the beach in Rio de
He's
Janeiro.
basically this season's Preki.
Yeah, like they paid 40 million for him. Apparently, he was Wolves club captain, even though no one's ever heard of him, which says a lot about Wolverhampton Wanderers, to be honest. But yeah, I just think there's just been too much nonsense there, and I don't rate the manager either. Like, I just think he's a bit of a chancer. I think most of the decent jobs he's had, he's just spewed because he thought he was the big I am, and I reckon he thinks he's going to blunder his way into one of the Classico jobs. And I was going to say I can't see that happening, but they gave the job to Koeman, so who knows. But that's the league-wide wild prediction, is that West Ham will be fighting relegation and just about survive in the manner of Forest season just gone.
I did that. I'm sorry.
The wild Everton prediction, and this is not just a prediction, this is a bet I've got with Fran, the assistant manager at the Denby. 5 pints, Everton finish above Liverpool in our first season of Bramley Moor.
You don't need to come on next season prediction.
Matt, I did like that mic drop then when you just said that.
It was a gentle mic place.
There's been a lot of bombshells in this, like him telling us
This cost
that
£3.57 on Amazon.
him telling us that Kilman's never really played footy before. I love that bit. But the other thing that to die on is I think Fulham will qualify for Europe.
Oh, okay.
I think they've made interesting signings. I think you've got our mate Marco still going there. I think they played some really good football last season, really good at home. I could see Fulham doing well towards the, what's it called now, the conference.
Yeah.
Which is what?
all
You've
it
only
was.
got to finish 14th for that.
Just give it that sweet conference.
Well,
That's all
you
it
basically got 8th or 9th.
Yeah,
There's a
8th.
dependence on like
Yeah, generally
well,
8th.
8th. Could see that happening.
Yeah. Good shout. Hopefully that's where the Toffees finish. We'll finish 8th, as me and Matt said.
Yeah, finished 8th.
We will finish in the Europa Conference. That has been it for this season's pre-season predictions show. Let us know on Twitter what you think about that, what you think about our predictions, what are your own predictions. It's at the Blue Room EFC. Let us know on Facebook as well, because we're doing bits on there as well for all the Everton Dars. And let us know on the YouTube, of which I am one, clearly.
Well,
And,
you're the one who's the troll.
yeah, I look after it, sit in the park end, and I'm 47. I am like that perfect.
That's not like new social media.
You wear
That
the
is-
hat inside a pub.
Well, yeah, and that is the, you would if you had hair like this, Matt. Anyway. So yes, that's been it. Let us know in the YouTube comments as well. We will be back throughout the season, as you know. Dave always mentions all this. You know all the stuff we've got going on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That has been our pre-season show. Up the Toffees.